Hello everyone and welcome back to a short EP review. In this video I'm going to review We Got Drunk and Made an EP by Tramp Stamps. If you haven't heard of Tramp Stamps ever up until this point, then that's a good thing because it shows that you don't really spend that much unnecessary time on the internet. Because Tramp Stamps blew up in 2021. It was actually one of the most talked upcoming groups of 2021. The unfortunate thing is that they got popular for all the wrong reasons, and the reason they got talked about this much is because of a huge amount of backlash. Now, when it comes to Tramp Stamps and what started all of this, there have been multiple videos around Tramp Stamps and why they're disliked so much. So there are many videos that explain this whole situation. I'm mostly going to focus on the musical perspective, but I think that it's appropriate to just put a background behind what led to that situation in the first place before the release of the EP itself. So to my knowledge, from what I've gathered so far, Tramp Stamps is a pop rock, emo and pop punk group that consists of three girls that would portray themselves as those three totally independent women, but all of this covered and done in a way that would actually feel extremely like PR and sort of disingenuous, and it didn't really take a lot of time to actually get exposed for having past connections with musicians and producers and making stuff in the past, which by itself is not a bad thing, but they quickly took the fame of the worst case of industry plants, and all of that could have really been avoided if it wasn't for the try-hard attempt to express themselves and what they do in all of those bold claims, like being this so unique and one-of-a-kind group, like girls being revolutionary and punk such a unique and new concept. So we're basically dismissing the entire Riot Girl wave like this was never a thing whatsoever. Despite all of that though, it would be pretty fine for me and I guess for so many other people if the music was actually good, but it isn't. There's actually nothing really special about what the three girls do musically. Just with the three songs that they put out, it didn't really feel like just another occasion of a bland pop punk band, because all of the three songs ended up just becoming extremely annoying. And what I would find to be the worst thing about all of those tracks is the main vocals, who just sound abhorrent. When it comes to the main vocals, they have this really bizarre tone to them where they're just extremely filled with autotune, and not a good autotune. It just sounds bad, and it doesn't really help that all of the vocal performances just sound extremely lifeless. The only thing that sort of creates an emotion is the autotune itself, just for how all over the place it is at times. The vocals just sound extremely annoying and irritating, and that's because they're just so far up into the mix compared to anything else. The main thing that you're going to listen to out of the songs is the vocals. Anything else just feels buried. So yeah, for me the vocals are the worst part about this EP. And it's not like their instrumentals or their overall mixing and their production is good. It's just so basic and so uninteresting. Like I basically remember nothing about this project when it comes to the instrumentals. It is that forgettable. But their focus is just completely taken when the vocals are this much into your face. Also, the really poor lyrical content doesn't help. It makes the situation even worse. The lyrics are quite sexist and basic in the sense that they're just like, we hate guys, we hate dudes, and that's about it. So when it comes to Tramp Stamps and their lyrics, they're supposed to be sort of a social commentary with a fun and humorous attitude, which I can't really see. Every single one of the songs feels completely unfunny. It's more irritating than funny. And I'm basically pretty fine with ideas like toxic masculinity being brought up by strong, empowering women. And there have been, especially in recent years, many pop artists that in my opinion have achieved that. In the case of Tramp Stamps though, their lyrics are so simplistic and so basic that they basically just boil down to guys are bad. And that's just basically it. There's nothing that much more, which is really unfortunate. The other thing that I want to point out is how lifeless everything just sounds and feels. And unfortunately, this whole thing just feels pretty fake and disingenuous, like they're basically trying so hard to put a persona and an agenda out there that doesn't really represent them. And it's really bizarre because why are you trying so hard to be something that you don't really feel comfortable with? And everyone can say this. Like, people haven't been fooled. Everything when it comes to this whole marketing just feels so disingenuous, and they've actually never really made a good way to back this up. There is, I think, the track 1-800 Miss Your Guts, I think that's the one, where it basically has this lyric where they call themselves Tumblr girls, and then at one point they made a Tumblr account. They posted so many random and irrelevant Tumblr posts only for their account to be deleted in less than a week. This is such a bizarre situation that, in my opinion, like I said, I feel that it could have been avoided. And so we're basically talking about a situation where Tramp Stamps have only released 3 songs, and there was already such a huge amount of backlash. Like, when it comes to the track I'd Rather Die, it has one of the craziest like to dislike ratios I've seen in any YouTube music video. This is insane. And so basically, this whole EP, it was destined to fail before it would even come out. And it was meant to come out much earlier, like more than a month ago, and it didn't drop, so I was just supposed that they're never going to release this. But it actually happened. This EP is out. And even in that case, it feels kinda bizarre in the sense like, why did they wait so long to release this? Were they seriously just waiting for the backlash to sort of die out in order to release this EP? Because even watching this at the marketing standpoint, wouldn't it be more appropriate to release this EP by the time you were the most talked about, even if it was for negative reasons? It wouldn't mind it even further if you would just put the release out. So in my mind, it would work better if this was released before, back when more people would talk about them. But apart from that, when it comes to the whole EP, this is a really interesting case because I really struggle to find any redeeming quality about this EP whatsoever. This has definitely got to be one of the worst releases I've ever heard. There is nothing that I could say is worth mentioning. When it comes to the instrumentals, at their best I can just say that they're just forgettable. There is nothing that I remember about the whole pop punk aesthetic because it's just so bland, it's just so uninteresting in any sense. It's mixed horribly, it's performed horribly. The only occasion where I would say that the instrumental seemed kinda fun was with the final track, Puke and Rally, but that by itself doesn't really say all that much, because it's still, even if the idea was kinda okay, it just sounds like garbage. Some of the songs I would say are definitely some of the worst stuff I've heard all year. I'd Rather Die is possibly my least favorite. It is a contender for one of the worst songs I've heard all year. It's definitely up there. So, this release was definitely a special case. I don't think I've ever seen such a huge amount of backlash on an artist. Now, do they deserve it? Obviously, when it comes to harassment and cyberbullying, I don't condone to any of that to any artist whatsoever, because they're not bad people. And if they were more genuine with themselves and with their fan base, and if they wouldn't make all of those bold, try-hard claims that are detached from reality, none of this would have happened. Even with the state that their music is currently. But besides any of that, this EP is definitely one of the worst things I've ever heard. There is zero redeeming quality about it. No matter how much I tried, I can't find a single good thing about this release. There is nothing good at it. At all. I'm going to give this EP an 1 out of 10, the lowest rating I can possibly give. What's your opinion on this EP? Like it, dislike it, Why and what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.